And your time now is 9:08. Thanks, Wayne, for coming to work today. We appreciate you. It means that I don't have to do it sometimes. Either way, it's now time for a government talk program hosted by Scott Johnson. And today we have the Tennessee Walking Horse National Celebration's CEO, Mr. Warren Wells. Scott, take it away.
Thank you, Producer Chase. This is Scott Johnson on behalf of Hopkins Farm Broadcasting here in Shelbyville, Tennessee, Bedford County, about 50 miles south of Nashville, 25 miles south of Murfreesboro, in the lovely and scorching rolling green hills of southern middle Tennessee. It's that time of the month where we have in here Warren Wells, the CEO of the Celebration, our walking horse and special event facility here in Shelbyville. Good morning, Warren.
Good morning. Thanks for having me again.
Thanks for coming in. I know you're one of the busiest guys in Bedford County. You always got something going on 24 hours a day. Isn't it great?
We try to, yes.
Great.
That's the goal.
That's the goal. And, we've talked about this a little before on the shows when you've been in here. Every time any kind of consulting group, tourism, whatever comes here, they go, do you guys realize what you have in Cooper Steel Arena? Not just the showgrounds itself, but, a facility that seats, roughly 5,000 people. And I know you guys spend a lot of time having different events. And I know you want to talk a little bit about it today, what's been going on.
Yeah. No, we are lucky to have something like this. And I always try to point out, not only do we have an event facility like we do in our town, but it's very rare for something like that to be owned privately and not owned by the government, because it's hard to make.
You guys are a nonprofit.
That's correct. That's correct.
Okay, 501c.
Yes, sir. It's tough to run an event facility and keep the doors open, but so most local governments run them because they know how much money it brings into the town, and that's why those consulting firms that you mentioned talk about how we're a treasure there. And in my opinion, we're getting better with the partnership with Cooper Steel. All that they have done to improve our facility has been amazing.
Yeah, I will say that. Let me interrupt you, Warren. Folks, if you have not been to Cooper Steel Arena in the last 6 months, you need to go out there. It's open during the day. Just go out there and walk through it.
Yep.
You're going to be amazed at the improvements out there in the facility, and thanks to the Coopers in partnership with Celebration, have really upgraded in more ways than one. Sound system, restrooms, you name it.
Yes.
All the kind of stuff people use.
Yes.
And what that does, of course, is help. I'm assuming it helps you attract more events here when you have a upgraded facility. Plus, you got one of the largest RV parks in Middle Tennessee.
That's correct, and that's that's what we do. Is we are constantly fighting for events to come here. They've got lots of places they can go, especially the events that we want. Those national size events, they can go anywhere in the country. And so we're competing all over the United States to bring people to Shelbyville, Tennessee. And so, we're a small town. We're a lot smaller than most of the towns we compete with. And so having a great facility has got to get us above that bar to recruit those events. So the partnership with Cooper Steel is going to help out with that a ton. So we're very grateful for them. But speaking of our doors being open, we are open this week because we have the State 4-H show in town.
All right.
Always one of our favorite weeks.
That's just a neat thing.
Yes, yeah. So youths from all over the state are here competing before they go to the nationals. And if you want to come see some amazing young equestrians do their thing, this week is the week. It's really, really awesome. And then we'll end this weekend with a show, a brand new show that we recruited down here called the TriStar Horse Show. It's mainly a quarter horse type event, and so that's we're excited about that. It's a little bit up in the air. The weather is going to be really, really hot, and since it's a one-day show, there's going to be a lot of horses coming in on trailers, and so if the weather is going to be super hot, we may have to cancel that because they're worried about bringing all the horses in on close to 100 degrees.
Absolutely. And one of the things that, and I know you've got some more events here to talk about, but, I think one of the things, especially a lot of our folks that didn't necessarily grow up in Shelbyville, they moved here, because our population is double what it was 30 years ago, is the economic impact that the Celebration Grounds has in the local community. Because whenever there's a large event going on at your place, all those restaurants are full.
Yes.
I mean, the feed store, they're all full.
Yep.
I mean, the sales tax just generated, the hotel motel tax generated. There's a lot that's given back to the community related to the events that you guys are putting on out there.
Yeah. I can tell you, last year alone, our RV parks paid $17,000 in hotel motel tax, just us. And so, that's not counting all the other hotels and things like that.
Right.
So, it is a huge impact. And I went to Chick-fil-A yesterday, and tons of 4-H kids there. Kids love Chick-fil-A, and so that's something that
Apparently Warren Wells does too.
Yeah, I do. But it was neat to see that. That's something that these kids who've come here every year to compete haven't seen before. Our town is growing. We have a new restaurant, and they were super excited about it. And speaking of kids, we have June 28th and 29th, we have another new event that would be that we've never had at the grounds, is the IBRA Youth Barrel Race. We're expecting a lot of kids there. We don't want to exaggerate too much, but we're thinking maybe 500 or 600 horses will be here for that. They're going to have slides, blow-up slides, and all kinds of stuff. They're really going all out for this. Pizza party, I think, is maybe in the plan. So we're real excited about that brand new event. Hopefully it goes well and comes back every year.
Plus, barrel racing is just fun to watch.
It is. And you think about kids on barrel races, just getting it. It's going to be fun. I might be a little nervous. We get a little nervous sometimes, but it'll be exciting.
Roger that. What else you got going on out there, Warren?
Well, really starting now, everything in the walking horse world is kind of leading up to the celebration, and so.
So what you're saying is you're in the middle of your season, leading up to the Super Bowl.
That's it.
Or to the World Series.
That's it.
Whatever you want to classify it as.
It's
because the Tennessee Walking Horse Dash celebration is the Super Bowl.
Yes, it
for the walking horse industry.
Yes, sir. I mean, that's what you compete for. That's what you practice for all year, and so that time is getting here. The 4th of July shows are huge, and so the week of the 4th of July.
There's several, right?
Yeah, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday is Christmas in July, which will be at the Ag Center. So you've got somewhere to go there. And then Friday is Money Tree Classic, which will be at our facility, Cooper Steel Arena. And then that Saturday is the Woodbury Show. So you have plenty of options to see a walking horse show. And then there's just shows throughout July around. The next one that we have here in Jubberville is July 25th, Heart of a Champion horse show, and that I believe that's a fundraiser for Cascade Cheer.
Okay.
Yeah. So those of you who did grow up here know that pretty much every walking horse show is a charity for something. I mean, that's another thing the industry does for our community.
Well, I think a lot of times folks aren't maybe aware of that when all these 1 and 2 night shows are almost all, not all of them, but almost all of them are raising money for nonprofits.
Yep.
And that's the way they make a lot of their money. I know we have civic clubs obviously at the Walking Horse National Celebration that I know at one time the civic club I belonged to, we raised half our money for the whole year just during those 11 nights.
Yeah, and I've heard stories that a lot of civic groups made their entire annual income on that. That was their fundraiser. They worked really hard those 10 nights, and then they did their duty in the community after that.
Because that money goes back into the community through various services and events and donations.
That's right. And it goes all the way back to our history of how we got started. 2 civic groups, Rotary and Lions Club, is how they funded that first horse show, that first celebration.
1939.
That's it, yes, sir. And, it's just built since then. 86 years later, we're still doing it. So we try to give back to our civic groups as much as we can, because that's how we did get our start 86 years ago.
Golly, that's hard to believe, isn't it?
It is.
I mean, it started at the field behind the old Shovel High School.
Yep.
Central High School, and then I think it moved, was it roughly 1948 or so, over to the celebration grounds?
I think that's right. It was in the 40s. I should be better.
Yeah, late 40s,
Yep.
Something like that, because then those first 3 rows of box seats, I think, were built.
Okay.
And then now we got 30,000 seat stadium.
Yes, yeah.
How many towns besides Shovel have a 30,000 seat stadium?
I'm gonna guess 0.
I'm guessing there's one.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, one other than 0 other than us. That's right. We are blessed and lucky to have it. It is a treasure for sure. And obviously, I'm biased, right? That's about how I get employed. But I've felt that way my entire life.
How long you been out there now, Warren? At Celebration Ground.
Just hit 3 years.
You just went over 3 years.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations.
Well, thank you.
And I know there's a lot of good things going on. And I know that, people don't realize, what is that, 100-plus acres out there?
104.
Oh, it's 104?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
we mow our grass.
And you deal with every acre of that, right?
Yeah.
And, of course, that's a huge infrastructure to support and maintain. And I tell you what, folks, we're going to do. We're talking to Warren Wells, the Celebration CEO here in Shelbyville, Tennessee. We're going to take a 60-second break. Be right back.
Shopping for home furnishings doesn't have to be a chore. You want to shop with a name you can trust, who has the better buy for both durability and affordability. Well, good news for folks of Middle Tennessee. There's a hometown source to get you the top brands for less, with wide selection, multiple financing options available, and best of all, honest folks that care for their customers with friendly and helpful customer service. Who's that, you ask? Well, any Shelbyville local can tell you it's gotta be Kincaid's. Kincaid's is a brand source store with $19 billion of buying power. That means you'll be getting the very best value. That's Kincaid Service Company, where service has been their middle name since 1934. Come browse their 11,000 square foot showroom today at 400 Madison Street, or give them a call at 931-684-5662. You can also follow them on Facebook and check out all their selection online at KincaidService.com. 931-684-5662.
This is Scott Johnson on behalf of Hopkins Farm Broadcasting here in Shelbyville, Tennessee, Bedford County. It's that time of the month where we're talking to the Celebration. That's Walking Horse, folks, but it's a little more than that out there now. CEO Warren Wells, who's been out there. Congratulations on your third anniversary of being out there as a CEO. Before we took the break to make station low money, I just started to talk about. I mean, that's a huge infrastructure to keep up. You got a 30,000 seat stadium. You got a roughly 5,000 seat indoor arena. You got another outdoor arena. You got how many barns out there? A bunch.
Yeah.
A bunch. Yeah. You got 200 something RV spots.
286.
286. That you know what every one of those is.
Yep.
Because you got to have power to those and water
Sewer,
and all that. Sewer to most of them. So, I mean, what are the biggest challenges out there as far as keeping up that infrastructure?
Yeah, I would say we're an aged facility.
We've been there a while.
Yes,
right?
We have, and we had some lean years too, and so in lean years you had to pull back on maintenance, and so we're paying for those costs now. But just in general, you think about maintaining 104 acres with all of that. I could be wrong, but my electric bill, or the Celebration's electric bill for the August, is like $80,000. And so
did you say 8,000 or 80,000?
80. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
60 to 80 those 2 months, December or August and September are really high.
It moves the needle at TVA, right?
Yes. They know when it's coming, when the Celebration's coming. We're going to take some power. But you just think about maintaining mowing the grass, the fences and things like that. It's a lot of work and a lot of money, but again, it brings a lot to the town, and so we're doing everything we can to continue to grow and to keep it maintained and improve it.
No doubt about it. And folks, like I said, if you haven't been out there, just during the day, the gates are open during the day. Drive through the showground. Everybody's welcome. Just come out there and drive through. Now, don't speed, because there's a lot of pedestrians and
a lot of horses right now.
Horses and everything else out there. So take your time, but go out there. If you haven't been out there in a while, go through the showgrounds out there and just kind of walk around. It's a neat. I think you got some people walk out there for exercise.
We do a bunch. And my plea to the locals, is this. These shows can go anywhere in the country. They chose Shelbyville. They chose to spend their vacation with us. They chose to spend, with inflation, things are getting harder and harder to have extra money, and they chose to spend it here in our town, at our restaurants, our gas stations. Just show them some support. If you own a business, put something on the sign, welcome them here. If you've got some free time, drive through pay your $5 to get in to support that show or something. It's just, I think it's something that does a lot for our community.
There's no doubt about it. Since 1939, helping folks here in the local community, raising money here in the local community, providing tax revenue here in the local community. Yep. It's just boom, boom, boom. There's so many things you can roll off. And it is I think a lot of people don't even know this, and we mentioned this briefly a while ago. The Celebration is a nonprofit organization. This isn't you guys are an outfit in it to make money, but you do have to make some money to stay afloat.
Right. Yeah, we want to employ people too. We're a large employer. We hire over 200 temporary employees to get us through the celebration. So we need to make, we want to make some money to pay those and put that money back into the economy for sure. And speaking of the celebration, so it's a little different this year. We almost always end in September. This year it's August 21st through August 31st, which is just the way the calendar fell.
I don't remember it ever doing that.
Me neither, but I guess it would have had to.
It would have had to have happened.
But I can't recall it in my lifetime either. That'll be a little bit different. If you're out there. And you're thinking you might want some box seats, we would love for you to come visit the office. If you've got your box seat letter, you're a little bit past due, so get those in. But if you think you might want to buy box seats for the show, we're happy to take new box seat holders this year.
How are box seat sales doing?
Good. Last year was amazing. I can't remember exactly, but it was highest in maybe 10 years or so.
Which is probably one of the bigger revenue generators for the celebration, for the National Walking Horse.
It is. And, man, for our people who show, our exhibitors, our owners, having rear ends and seats means a lot to them. They work very hard to have that opportunity to show in that big arena.
It's a spectator sport.
It is. And we are one of the few equestrian spectator sports. There's just not many out there anymore.
I've been to a lot of horse shows that are not walking horse related, and usually it's the owners and the trainers.
That's right.
And their families.
That's right.
And that's about it. Yeah, there's not a lot of noise. You can get a lot of noise going at the celebration in that stadium you've got out there.
Yes.
Which is enthusiasm.
Excitement for sure. And last year, our final class for the World Grand Champion was one of the most exciting in many years. I mean, it was loud in there. I go to every UT home game, and it was loud in our stadium, which was really cool. But you asked about box seats. So last year was amazing, like the highest in 10 years, and we are tracking to be right at it again this year. So that's very encouraging.
Well, folks, if you need a box seat, I'd encourage you to go out now. Don't wait till August.
Yes.
Go out there now, get your box seat, get it reserved. Well, it's a great family fun. I mean, this is a family atmosphere out there. A lot of things you go to aren't necessarily. This is a family event.
Yeah. Sit out there with your friends and family. Buy a hot dog or a hamburger or some donuts from a civic group and just enjoy.
There's donuts out there.
I've heard some will argue that more people come for donuts than horses. So I don't know if I agree with that. But
we like competition. I believe it's competition.
Yeah. I will say my first year, if I can take a moment.
Absolutely. My
first year when the donuts opened, there was this long line, and so I went out there and I'm new, and so I'm talking to everybody in the line. And this person says they're from Alabama, and I said, "Oh, you come up for the horse show?" He goes, "Yep, been coming every year. Named it 20, 30 years." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And I said, "So where do you stay when you come up?" He goes, "Oh, we don't stay anywhere. We just drive up and get donuts." And he said, "We buy a trunk full. We take them back home and we freeze them. And we have them on Father's Day, Mother's Day, Easter, Christmas. So he freezes them for the whole year, and that's their special."
So there's Optimus Club donuts going to Alabama.
Yes, and they're at every holiday. That family. And so,
that's a neat story though for the celebration.
So that put me back a little bit. I was like, well, maybe people do come up here just for the donuts.
Well, folks, get those box seats. I know the box seat that my wife and I have has been in her family since they were built. I think 1948 or whenever.
That's amazing.
Whenever that was, we need to figure that year out,
yes.
Warren. Whenever that was built, but right there on the 50-yard line, it's a great family event. So, folks, do that. Support the celebration and come on out. I know every once in a while, we do have folks that talk about enforcement of rules and stuff for the celebration, and I know I've been involved with that for 15 years, and folks, the compliance rate's very, very, very high. It's over 97% of the folks doing the right thing.
Yes.
So, you do hear about some of the bad stuff, but the bottom line is the vast majority of our trainers are doing the right thing, and they really are.
Yes.
And I'm an enforcement guy.
Yeah,
I've been in law enforcement my whole life. So, I just want to put that in there, that the vast, vast majority of folks are doing what they're supposed to be doing to get out there and compete.
That's correct.
And, and I guess since we're almost out of time, Warren, folks probably want to hear a comment about rulemaking. Obviously, the USDA, the federal government, has decided to make some changes with a rule. This is not a law. The law couldn't get passed. So now they've decided to make a rule, which federal agencies are allowed to make rules to enforce laws. So, I mean, that is part of the political process, but I know this one takes effect, in February, I think, of next year. It's not going to affect this show season, but if it does go into effect, it's obviously going to change the walking horse industry some. And so what's going on with that?
Yeah, so I think last time we were here, we talked about that a little bit, and as a government guy, both of us spent a lot of our lives, our careers in government.
Yes, we have.
And you were right; they couldn't pass it by law, and so did an executive order, or not executive order, but did it through the rulemaking process, which is, in my opinion, maybe not the best way to legislate, but that's beyond us. So. February 1st, a couple of things will happen, but one, they take away our ability to self-regulate. And then they also take away the pad and the action device, which is really the iconic Tennessee walking horse, would go away in February. And so we're exploring our options. I would expect probably a lawsuit would come from it. We feel like we have to do everything we can to defend ourselves. And as you mentioned, our compliance rate is about the best it's ever been. And then this comes. It just seems like a very weird time.
Well, I know we've all worked very hard to make sure folks are compliant.
Correct.
I mean, we have.
Correct.
Because we operate as an agency for the USDA when we're doing that.
And we take it very seriously.
Absolutely, no question about it. And but it is what it is, so I assume we'll expect a lawsuit against that somewhere in the country at some point to help defend the industry and that sort of thing. Warren, we're almost out of time. You talked about a whole host of issues going on. Is there anything else you want to talk about beforehand besides come out there and buy some box seats?
Yeah, that would be the key thing. I don't think so. We covered a lot, and I just want to thank WLIJ for allowing me to have a spot to talk about all the things that we have going on. We think that we are, like I said, a treasure in the community, and want to get as much support as we can as we're bringing in these visitors.
Absolutely. Folks, go out there, and we've been talking to Warren Wells, the Celebration CEO here in Shelbyville, Tennessee, Bedford County. I'd encourage you, if you hadn't been to the showgrounds, just go out and drive around a little bit, see what's going on, do a walkthrough in Cooper Steel Arena.
Yep.
And see what that is, and drive through the 104 acres that we have out there. And if you go to the main office there, which is right behind the West Grandstands, you can get yourself a box seat lined up and get your pick right now versus waiting near the end.
Correct.
So you have a good family event going on. We appreciate everybody tuning in and listening. We do have 11 government or government-related talk shows every month, so almost any Tuesday through Friday at 9 a.m. for most of them, you're able to actually listen to the folks that are actually doing the work about what's going on with these department heads and different organizations like the Celebration. So this is Scott Johnson on behalf of Hopkins Farm Broadcasting, the only locally owned radio station here in Bedford County. Until next time.